So welcome to Practice CrossFit again. I'm Josh, this is Chastity, this is Mindy, and today Chastity and Mindy will be going through necessary handstand progressions to get you to an unmodified handstand.
I'm Mindy and this is Chastity from Practice CrossFit, and we're going to go over some handstand progressions. A lot of times when a handstand comes up in a WOD, not all of the people in the class can do it, especially your new people. So after watching Chastity show what a regular handstand push-up looks like, we're going to go through some progressions that you could use with people who are brand new all the way up to people who almost have their handstand push-ups. The first thing we're going to do, Chastity's going to show us an unmodified handstand push-up. Okay, if you look, her hand position, good, go ahead and come back out of that. When she's trying to figure out where to place her hands, okay, she wants to think about she's doing a shoulder press so she can put them straight up. That's pretty much where we want them for the handstand push-up. If you saw her position, that's where she was. She wants to avoid going wide. Another thing, the pressure on her hands, you see she's all taped up. Okay, the weight is primarily on the top of her palm and her fingertips here, not so much on the bottom of her palm. Another way you can do a handstand push-up is facing the wall. These don't come up a whole lot, but it would be great to have both, because let's say she gets to the games and that shows up, at least she has practiced it, okay? If you have the option, she would obviously go for what she's stronger at, but it's a great way to practice another form of the handstand push-up. So she's never done this before, so she's gonna try it for the first time and see what happens. I'm not gonna walk. That's okay. Okay, so she is facing the wall. She's going to look forward, get down as far as she can, and back up. Awesome. Okay, Chas actually does an awesome job staying pretty vertical. A lot of times when you see people do the wall-facing ones, they really become broken and they get overextended, as opposed to when she's in her facing away handstand push-up, she's in a nice hollow rock, she's tight. A lot of times facing the wall will put you in a position where your shoulders are way behind you and you're broken here in your midline. You would never shoulder press like that, so your handstand shouldn't be like that either. So now that we know what we're going for, we can show you some different progressions to use with your clients. So this first progression will be for your newest people who have never tried a handstand or never been in that vertical plane. I think a lot of times we sub handstand push-ups for something like a push-up, which is great, but that's not going to practice the same range of motion that we're looking for in a handstand. So the first thing we're going to do, Chastity's going to get up on this box. She's going to put her knees on the box. Okay, from there, she's going to walk her hands as far back to the box as she is comfortable with. Okay, depending on your athlete, that could be way out here, or Chas has a great angle here. She's going to do the exact same thing she would in a handstand now. She's going to bring her head down, go as far as she can, and notice that she leans forward a little bit, and then she's back up. Okay, this is going to vary on your athlete depending on their strength and their mobility, but it's giving you the same idea. She's up vertically, she's getting her head to the floor, and she pushes back up. Can we see one more? She's all the way down, keeping her back super tight. Great. The next progression from that, to make this just a little bit more difficult, she's going to have her feet on the box as opposed to her knees. So she gets her feet placed, make sure that she's not on the edge of the box so she doesn't slip. And again, how close she walks to the bar is really going to depend on how comfortable she is with this movement. Again, her hands are in nice and close, like she'd be doing a shoulder press. She's not out too wide. From here, she's going to go down and touch her head. Okay, and back up. I want to see this time if Chas can keep looking at the box and still make it down. Okay, good. And she comes forward, and that's fine. It's just getting your client or your athlete used to being in that upside down position and using those shoulders to press themselves up. Very good. Okay, here's another modification that may not be a good one for the middle of a WOD, but if you have an athlete that's practicing on their own time, it is another progression that you could use. If you look, we've just tied one band around the pull-up bar and then looped another band through it. So what she's going to do, she's going to put her arms right through this and then get the rest behind her. From here, she's going to kick up in a handstand, and the goal is to get her foot wrapped around this band. She may be able to do this on her own, or she might need the help of a trainer. So she'll kick up, find that band, and wrap. So if you look here, it's the same idea, but now she's completely up and down, and these bands are taking some weight off of her, so that's what's making it a little bit easier. She's gonna go down just like she would on a regular handstand push-up. Good, and then come back up. So the bands are taking just a little bit of weight. Go ahead again. She's coming forward, head touches, and she pushes back up again. Note her, the width of her hands. Okay, still in great position. When she's ready to come down, she just kicks off, and she's back down. So again, probably not a good one to use in a wall just because it takes so much time to get in and out of, but a great way to practice the strict handstand push-up movement. Okay, so we're back at the wall here, and Chas is such a phenomenal athlete. We've made it through all the progressions in one. So now that she's ready to get back on the wall, we have to practice her kicking up to the wall. Not all athletes are going to be comfortable kicking up into a handstand. Okay, so I'm going to spot her. She's going to face the wall. Number one thing you got to remind your clients to do not unlock those elbows. It's very important she keep those the elbows locked so she isn't falling on her face here. She's going to find her strong leg so that I know what leg she's going to kick with. Okay, does Chas, do you know what leg you're going to lead with? That one. So I actually want to be on this other side of her. She's going to bend down, lock those arms out, and as she kicks, when that second leg comes up, I'm going to follow and make sure that she makes it all the way. So she gets into position. She had no problem doing it. Some athletes will. Make sure they get here. From here, we really want to encourage that hollow rock position. Okay, Chas holds it great. Once they get here, okay, they've got this, but they don't really have the musculature to do any kind of handstand push-up. She's going to kick back down, and then she can just do a regular push-up right in place. So she'll stay on the ground, go for a regular push-up, staying planked out and hollow. Good, and from there, she's just going to kick back up. Good. So this is going to get them in the habit of feeling what it's like to stabilize themselves, and then they still get the movement of getting the push-up in and come back down. And she would push up again. Great. Okay. Once she is comfortable with that and you can relax, and is able to do a little bit of the handstand, we're just going to change the range of motion. So we're not going to have her go down to the ground right away. We can use a couple ab mats. So once she's able to kick up on her own, she'll get into hollow, and then I'm going to ask her to go down so that her head touches the mat, and then she's going to push back up. That's not the full range of motion, but that's where she's going to start to get used to that push. Okay, so she'll go ahead and kick up again, get nice and tight. Again, encourage the hollow rock. She's looking straight out ahead. She's not looking at the floor. She waits until her head hits that mat, and she comes back up. Once your athletes are strong enough, we just keep removing ab mats. So after she progresses, good, until eventually they don't need these ab mats anymore. Go ahead and come down. Now so far, when we've been at the wall, every handstand push-up that Chas has done has been stripped, okay? We can also use a kipping motion. So, do you want this ab mat here? No. Okay. So we'll get rid of the ab mats. Chas is gonna go ahead and get into her handstand. When she gets to the ground, I want you to watch what she does with her legs. She's going to bring them down, curl them in into her torso, and then use the momentum of throwing her feet up at the same time that she pushes to get herself all the way to full extension. She's nice and tight. She hits the ground. If you look, her hips actually get against the wall. She curls down as far as she can. At the same time, she pushes and kicks. Good. That allows you to use your entire body to do the movement just like, keep going please, just like we would for a kipping pull-up as opposed to a strict pull-up. It's the same idea. Good. Hips go against the wall. She goes in and up. Good. Come on down. As she's trying to work from a kipping to a strict, she might just bring her legs down a little bit less each time until she doesn't need to do that at all. Okay, so hopefully we have shown you a few different techniques that you can use to get your athletes from not having any experience with a handstand push-up, and use these progressions to slowly build them up in a way that they'll be confident and not so afraid of coming right up to the wall. This is Practice CrossFit, again, signing off.